Welcome to Let's Talk Podcast. Today, we are going to be examining a situation that highlights the serious responsibility God places on wives to honor and respect their husbands. Now, you may not be a wife. You may not want to be a wife. You may not desire to be a wife. You may be a widow. You may be single. Whatever the case may be, this video still applies to you. And the reason it still applies to you is because if you are a daughter of the Most High God, and you have a responsibility as a woman to navigate and guide other women to the straight and right path. We'll be looking at a woman who is actively embarrassing her husband, using him for personal gain, and making public jokes at his expense. So they're coming for her. They're talking about her. But he's the one that's getting the blunt of the jokes. As believers, we know that scriptures are very clear. A wife is called to be a crown to her husband's head, to protect his honor, and to represent him well in the world. Proverbs 12, chapter 4. Titus chapter 2, 4 through 5. And we know from my understanding that I believe they may be Muslim, so they follow the Quran. And even the Quran teaches that women should guard their modesty and preserve their dignity of their own household. And if you want to look that up, that's in the Quran 24:31 and 33:33. So in this conversation that we're having today, we will be exploring how this woman's actions violate both biblical and also the Quran's teaching. And we'll reflect on what it truly means for a wife to walk in godly respect, obedience. I know a lot of us don't like that word, obedience and honor in her marriage. This is not just about one couple. That's the thing. Oh, it's just them. It's just them. It's a lesson for anyone seeking to understand God's designs for a marriage. And not just that, the weight of our words and our actions and how they can affect so many different people. So we're going to be going through a transitional phase where we're talking about what biblically a woman and wife could do, and as far as what the Quran says a woman and a wife does. And what I mean by do is within their lifetime. Because as we get into some of the things that's happening with this woman, you'll see that it's happening because she's bored. Because she's bored, she's not only embarrassing herself, but she's also embarrassing the man that truly, I believe, truly loves her.
I used to go to work every day, but that was before I discovered unemployment. With unemployment, you get to leave behind the grind of having a job for the small sacrifice of not making a living. Plus, with a lack of career, you might also experience a lack of purpose, which is going to leave you with a ton of free time. And right now, unemployment is skyrocketing, so it has never been more on trend to go jobless. Of course, there can be some side effects, such as starvation, moving back in with your parents, and starting an OnlyFans account. Try unemployment today, because why would you go to work when you can easily just live off your savings?
So she shows her husband as an example of living off of her savings. And I get it. You can see this video is a joke. It's meant to be funny. But when you start saying certain things and behaving a certain way to where men within his own community and circle don't respect him, it's not funny anymore.
For the
amazing husband, don't get me wrong, but human beings, like, they change. They're wired to make mistakes, and I just, like, you never know what the future holds. And so it's like, it's a scary thing to think, but I think that's why I just want to lay it all out there, that it's of course something that like goes through my mind. And he's also in the entertainment industry, and guess what, there's hoes in the entertainment industry. Like, there are women who purposely try to break up a marriage or who purposely try to target men with money, and that's not just on like them, that's also like on the men too. But it's like, that's why I wanted to start making TikToks, because I was really just looking for some creative fulfillment. And I was also looking to kind of like put my own name out there. Sometimes
So she wanted to put her name out there. And she was also looking for some kind of creative fulfillment. And the joke that you listened to earlier, it said that the drawbacks of being unemployed is that you have too much free time. This woman has too much free time. She doesn't cook, she doesn't clean, she doesn't even wash his clothes. She only washes her clothes. So she has a lot of time on her hand. So she decided, you know what? I need some fulfillment. I need something to make me happy because being a wife is not enough to fulfill me. And like I said, there are so many things that she could do to fulfill her. Biblically speaking, what a woman and a wife can do, manage the home. That means food, clothing, cleaning, and even his schedule. This man is a millionaire. He's constantly on the road and doing shows. You can help manage his schedule. Why are you only cleaning your clothes? Why can't you wash his clothes too? You're already doing laundry as it is. You can help run business, selling goods, buying land, trading. All these things are possible, especially with the type of income that you have coming in. You could work in agriculture. You could be harvesting or growing gardens and things of that nature. You could be buying and selling clothing and fabrics and things like that. All these things is what was done biblically in the scriptures. It's many verses that show that women would help with other family members. They would also help with tent making and crafting. They practice hospitality, hosting guests and feeding travelers that came along the way, supporting the ministry and teaching. That's another thing you can do. Look at Aquila and Priscilla. You could serve your community. There are people that need midwives, helping the poor and charity. You could help manage the money, budgeting, and even investing. All these things were done biblically. Supporting your husband. If it's spiritual, support him that way. If it's with his job, whatever it is. And the Quran also has lots of examples of things that women did do. In the Quran, when you read the Quran, which from my understanding, they are Muslim, women cook, clean, and raise children. They also ran businesses in the Quran. They did trading and finances and entrepreneurship. They also were involved in animal caring and planting and gathering firewoods. All this is in the Quran. They wove, sewed, things of that nature, clothing and fabrics and things like that. And then they sold what they made. They helped the family. They helped community, did a lot of community work. They fed travelers, people that came by, or even the needy. They even taught, when you look at the Quran, they taught languages. Yeah, a lot of women taught languages. They help people who are sick within healing and injured people. They help manage the money and the property. This was a lot of things that women in the Quran that was doing. And then they also supported their husbands. So this woman is bored. She said herself, my husband is amazing, but I'm trying to get my name out there. She got too much time on her hand and she needs to find something to do. And what she decided to do was create a podcast, create a TikTok, start pushing her social media. But within the process of doing that, she's embarrassing her husband. And we're going to get into scriptures like Proverbs and different things like that, where you're going to see that biblically speaking, you're not supposed to be. Anyone who doesn't even believe in the Bible knows that you shouldn't be treating your husband this way, but this is what she does. And we're having this conversation today and bringing it back to God because He's the golden standard. He teaches us how we ought to treat ourselves and others. So to see that this woman is treating her husband in this way is so despicable. And more women need to speak up. It's a lot of men out there that are exposing her behavior and what she's doing, but it's not enough women that are out here that are speaking up and saying, hey, what you're doing is not okay. It's not okay at all.
I get so painfully nostalgic for college. So for context, I went to college from 2011 to 2016. The top like 4 songs when I came back for my sophomore year, Click, Pop That, Bands Make Her Dance, Birthday Cake, the 2 Chainz, Birthday is Your Birthday. I was popping my and living my best life in these white boy frat house.
So she's talking about a lot of worldly, promiscuous, sexual songs. And she said herself she was popping her punani all over the white frat boy college dorm houses, whatever. And she was living her best life. She is missing, fantasizing, back when she was being passed around. This is so embarrassing and so disrespectful to this particular man, to any man, to have their wife go out there and speak like this. And God is definitely not pleased with this at all.
Two butthole stories. So one time I met this guy on Tinder. This was before Bumble or Hinge. Like this was like in the OG days of the app. And this guy, he was like some how do you say, half Asian, like baddie. Wasian. That's the word. Yeah, Wasian. Actually in the Bay. That's when I was living in the Bay Area. And I made the dumb mistake of letting him sleep over, like not really wanting to hook up. And I like woke up in the morning and like my asshole was a little sore. Oh my God. And I remembered that I would like try to finger me in my asshole. I'm like, first of all, we were not on those like terms.
So this woman is now deciding that she's going to go online and tell stories about how her butthole was fondled. So let me ask you guys a question. Proverbs chapter 12, verses 4. It says, a virtuous woman is a crown to her husband, but she that maketh a shame is rottenness in his bones. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband's head, but she that maketh a shame is as rottenness in his bones. What do you think this woman is based off of this biblical verse? Is she a crown to her husband's head? Does she bring honor, respect, and dignity to him? When people speak of her name, do they understand how much of a wonderful husband he is? No, they don't think that at all. She is rottenness to his bones. She is talking about how she was being passed around in college, and she's talking about how some random man was playing with her butthole. Why would you want to have this type of conversation out on the internet for the world to see? This brings no respect and no honor to her husband in any kind of way. A little commentary on this particular verse, Proverbs chapter 12, verse 4. The Bible literally says that a good wife is her husband's crown, meaning she elevates his reputation when she carries herself with dignity. So how she carries herself is going to elevate him. Because when you see a regular man, right? Good regular man. Then you see a good regular man with a crown. He's elevated. And this is what the power that us women have. We can elevate our men because we're helpmates. We're supposed to do that. We're supposed to help them. But a wife who behaves shamefully, especially in public, it weakens him. It weakens everything about him. Men will now, people within his circle, will not respect him. They will mock him. They will make jokes on him. He will be the butt of the joke, be so embarrassing. And it's a lot of men, wives, that are out there that are doing this. And to speak about sexual conversations, knowing on top of that that your husband was a virgin. Yes, anyone who knows anything about this particular marriage, he claims he was a virgin to 31 years old. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of it had to do with his faith. That he didn't want to defile his body until he was married. He wanted to save himself for his wife. And he believes that that helped him tremendously within his marriage. And I believe that that is also a true statement. Proverbs 31, chapter 31, 11 through 12 says, the heart of her husband do safely trust in her. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. How are you doing him good and not evil when you're out here talking about how some man that you never met in your life hurt your butthole, or how you love being passed around in the frat houses by white boys? This is so disgusting and so embarrassing. Listen, none of us are perfect. We all have challenges and mistakes that we make in life. I would be the last one to sit here and say that I've never made any type of mistake. I've made mistakes myself. But to celebrate those sins and celebrate those mistakes that you make, what type of wife are you? You're not doing good for him. He cannot safely trust himself with you. He can't. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that you have zero respect for yourself, nor do you have any respect for the union that you created with your husband. He trusts her character, her word, and how she represents their household. Because When you become married, you become one. You're not just an individual that can just do whatever they want. Your actions, your behavior, your words, the things that you say reflects the entire relationship, the marriage. It affects him and it affects you. So when you're speaking about promiscuous things, right? And how in the past you did this and you did that, it is so disrespectful for the union that you've created with him. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 20 through to 24 says, Wives, submit yourself to your own husband way. You are supposed to be subjective and submissive to him. Biblical submission is about order and it's about respect. It's not about who's more, you know, inferior or anything like that, or foot mad and to no. It's about respect and it's about order. The wife willingly chooses to conduct herself with honor, not only for herself but also for her husband. And you do this the same way that you would be as a child of God. You believe in God, you're a child of God, right? You conduct yourself a certain way. Why? You don't want to embarrass the Most High God. You're a Christian and you're behaving that way. You're a Muslim and you're creating that way. You're behaving that way. No. So these are certain lessons and teachings that we have to look into. And of course, I don't believe that they are Christians and I don't think they believe in Jesus Christ. But from my understanding, within the Islamic teaching, within the Quran, it speaks about women guarding their modesty. It talks about that. When you look right here, Quran 24:31, women must be modest. So this is not just some biblical thing within just the Christian faith. Even within the Quran, it teaches to be modest and tell the believing woman to lower her gaze and guard their private parts. Quran 33:33. Women should not display themselves improperly and stay in your home and do not display yourself as in the days of ignorancy. So you shouldn't be out there in the streets. And this is what she's doing. She's bored. She doesn't have anything to do. She said herself, when you're unemployed and living off your savings, referring to her husband, you find that you have a lot of time. So instead of her practicing the things that the biblical scriptures teach us, or even within her Quran, if this is what she believes based on what she's saying and practicing, it doesn't seem that way. But if this is what she believes, she's not even following what her Quran teaches. 4:34 says, the verses Muslims use when it comes to discipline. So I put this particular verse in here because there are certain verses within the Quran where it talks about where a man or husband needs to strike a woman if she is acting out of order. And you're probably wondering, okay, why are you putting this in here? I'm putting this in here to show that there are some people within that particular sector. I'm not saying all people that practice this faith, but within that sector, they teach men to lay your hand on your wife if she acts crazy and does something foolish. The fact that you can obviously see this is not something he practices and does, and I don't condone this in any kind of way, but to know that he's so close to that type of behavior to a degree, you would think that she would be a little bit more mindful in the way that she moves and how she says things. Because there are people who actually believe the same thing they believe and they put their hands on their wives. It's 4:34. And look what it says. Men are the protectors and the maintainers of women. Therefore, the righteous women are devoutly obedient and guard in absence what Allah would have them guard. As for those from whom you fear are that are rebellious, admonish them, then abandon them in the bed, then strike them. So, certain women that are rebellious, you are supposed to admonish them, correct them, verbally go to them. Hey, I don't think you should behave in this way. You shouldn't be going around telling people you're popping your punani. You shouldn't be talking about your butthole. You shouldn't be saying it's okay to sleep around on your cycle, which is other videos that she has out there, these videos I'm showing you are not as bad as the other ones. It's even worse videos out there of her showing these things. And lastly, you're to abandon them in the bed. That's like separating within the home. So you shouldn't even be sleeping with her. If this is how she's behaving and carrying herself, you shouldn't even be sleeping with her, messing with her, have nothing to do with her. Go sleep in another bed. And lastly, you're to strike her. Now, they say strike, but don't leave a mark. But this is something that they definitely teach, which is, again, I'm not saying I'm in agreement with it, but what I am saying is you would think her coming from this type of background and them two definitely seeing, hearing, and reading and knowing about this, you would think that she'll be a little bit more mindful of what comes out of her mouth. But obviously, she is definitely not.
But anyways, so that was non-consensual.
Oh, wow.
So now I'm going to really show you some videos of what happens when you disrespect your husband, when you don't follow scriptures, and it tells you on how you're to carry yourself and the things you should do when you find yourself bored, which I gave many examples that the Bible and the Quran teaches. Now you have men within your circle, within your community, that do not respect your husband at all.
Holy shit. Yeah, Akaash was a virgin when he met her. She clearly wasn't. Yo, what the fuck, man? Bruh.
Sorry for the language.
Fucking wild. That is absolutely fucking wild, bro. Hold on. Gentlemen,
I just want you to see the passion and how
this is what happens when you don't have red pill awareness,
these men are speaking on your husband. It's embarrassing.
This is what happens when you don't have red pill awareness. I've never even seen this video. I thought it was bad with the ATM shit. Basically, I call him Akaash ATM. That's his real name now. This is a fucking
Look how they're talking about his wife.
It's a public service announcement to all the simps, the losers.
So now they're calling him simps and the losers of the world.
It's time to get red pilled. Now, you may not like Myron Gaines. In fact, you might hate him. But one thing he is not is wrong about the Akaash situation being way worse than he expected. In case you don't know the backstory, Akaash is a famous comedian who married his dream woman. You know
what this post. So she posted this on her Instagram real quick, and it says a woman that was sick of working as a consultant and wanted she's shaking her husband's hand.
Younger than him, attractive, and so he has made it, right, guys? You know, happy wife, happy life.
Weird ass Akaash Singh and his disrespectful wife in this whole pay
she is very
situation.
Disrespectful.
But alas, the internet has surfaced yet another piece of content from a couple of years ago that continues not to let this man breathe.
No,
and I'm absolutely here for
she's doing
to dissect it, because this one is impossible to ignore. Now,
it's so embarrassing.
I can't watch! I can't watch!
They're telling him to run.
I can
go to the bank.
Internet shit.
They don't respect him.
And it's okay. It's okay, guys. We are going to spend some time trying to defend the indefensible. My Little Indian.
See, that's my, yeah, I got a problem. Because you said My Little Indian, and right now, the anthem from My Little Pony popped in my head. My Little Indian, my
mocking
little Indian.
him, basically. He's like the butt of
You're like the most
prude,
super shy, no affection, no PDA whatsoever.
It's not like honoring your husband. You're not a crown to your husband.
Like just with him for money. And for what I just saw, that's what it seems, bruh. When he proposed again, it wasn't about love. It was about, oh my God, look how big the ring is.
So, as you can clearly see, that this woman has no respect for her husband at all. And we went over some biblical verses showing how we're supposed to carry ourselves. And I know you're probably thinking, well, okay, why are we talking about this? We're talking about this because this is becoming a norm. These women are constantly going out disrespecting their husband. As women of God, we're not supposed to be doing that. We are supposed to be a crown onto their head. When they walk outside their house, they're supposed to be able to trust in us and know that we are not going to do or say anything to destroy their character, their finances, career, anything at all. But she's doing all of these things, and she responds to all of the hate and the backlash that she's getting for the things that she's saying. And this is her response.
This, like, people, doesn't affect me as much because I genuinely don't respect them. I'm just like, okay, like, talk about me all you want, drive traffic to my page.
So she's like, you could talk about me all you want. I don't care. She doesn't even mention her husband. They're not just talking about you, they're talking about him as well. They're dragging him through the mud majority of the time, not really you. They're just looking at you like a goofy. It's him that's being dragged in the mud. And you're like, I don't care. Who cares? You're bringing more traffic to my channel. Keep talking about me.
Our YouTube video, our podcast episode that me and Nahal did got 37,000 views, which for us is really fucking high because we're just starting out.
So she's happy that her husband is being dragged through the mud, being made fun of, mocked, embarrassed, being disrespected within his own circle, all because why? Her video got 37K views. She's getting more subscribers, she's getting more views. So why does she care? This level of selfishness is crazy.
So I'm like, okay, keep driving traffic. I'm not even gonna read any of the comments. So it's like, what are you doing this for? Like, there's no way you can be happy. Like, you cannot be happy just doing this. And
how are you happy? How are you happy doing what you're doing? How are you happy actively destroying, embarrassing your marriage, yourself, and your husband? You're the one that should be asking, how am I finding happiness from it? You're not going to read the comments. You know why? Because you can't handle it. These people are going to go in on you, and you need to be gone in on. You need, pause. That came out bad because some of the stuff she be saying. You need some correction. People need to call you out because what you're doing is so disgusting. And to see how you're just continuously being provided for and continuously being given what you like to call this soft life while actively disrespecting the man that you said out of your own mouth was a good man, it is disgusting.
I feel like if you honestly just tried to find God, worked on yourself, went to therapy, you would feel so much better than what these like little cockroaches and parasites try to tell you. Honestly, that's like my honest feedback.
So she said that we need to seek God. And in the process of seeking God, I decided that I think it was important that we kind of go over a few things because she herself said we're cockroaches that need to seek God. When you look at Christianity, a wife flirting her sexual history, flaunting her sexual history, glorifying her sexual history, how promiscuous she was, and having no shame at all, she is violating the commitments that she made with her husband when she decided to say that I would honor him until the end because I love him and I care about him so much. No, you are dishonoring your husband. You are rottenness to his bone based on Proverbs chapter 12, verse 4. It's sad. It's so sad to see this woman actively destroying another man. Years this man spent building his image, his reputation, and his career, and all the wealth that came with that. He shares with her with no limit. And in return, he's made fun of and disrespected by who? Not his enemy, supposedly, but the woman that he is committing his life to. Within the Muslim and within Indian women, it's the same thing. You're not supposed to violate the modestness. It's not modest for you to be talking about your butthole. And when you're doing things like that, it shows that you have no respect, not only for yourself, not only for your husband, but also the God that you claim you believe in, Allah. I made this video because I want all the women out there to know, and more women need to stand up. More of us need to be out there correcting this type of behavior. It shouldn't be okay. I'm seeing mostly the men doing it, but us as the women, we need to be doing the same. We need to be out here correcting this type of behavior and saying that we're not okay with this. We are not okay with women behaving this way. We are not okay with women disrespecting their husbands. We are not okay with women flaunting how their butthole was violated and laughing about it like it's funny, talking about how you want to sleep with another man's husband and how big his thing is. All these things are disgusting, disrespectful, and it's embarrassing to the covenant that you claim that you made before God. You know, when you look at them, you would say, oh my goodness, they're so cute. And look, even within their wedding video, I don't know the traditions that they have, but you see him handing her wads of money. You've seen some of the other funny jokes that she made. And he himself makes jokes too because he is a comedian, if you didn't know. But I don't know. It's a really sad thing to see. It's a really sad thing to see. And I wanted to take some time to show that if you claim to be a woman of God, you should know better than to behave this way and to act this way. Thank you guys all for just showing up today. I really want to hear from you guys. So hit the comment section below and tell me what you guys think. Do you guys agree with this type of behavior? And as women, should more of us be out here standing up and speaking up and against this type of behavior? Till then, you guys, take care.